At that moment, the police behind radioed the criminal's location. Furious, Peter donned his Spider-Man suit and rocketed to a nearby skyscraper. After some bouncing, Peter quickly found the culprit, shot his web, and swung like on a swing. In New York skyscrapers, he wandered gracefully, then kicked the robber's car, shattering the windshield, reducing it to a cardboard box. The car spun out of control and left the road, compelling the robber to flee to a nearby abandoned factory as if finding refuge. But facing a slippery opponent like Peter, all his struggles were in vain. Peter grabbed the robber and slammed him against the door's glass, making everyone want to. But Peter wasn't satisfied. He tried again and, in a flash, kicked the robber into the corner like playing a game. "Did you give my uncle a chance to trust you? Let me tell you, you almost scared me to death." At that moment, the police's searchlight locked onto their location, and Peter, in a daze, realized that the killer of this book was the very robber he. Turns out, it was all his fault. Talk about self-inflicted trauma. But just as Peter was in deep thought, cocky robber raised his gun again, so Peter, without hesitation, slapped his arm down and twisted his wrist with full force. The startled robber instinctively pushed back, tripping over a pipe, tumbling down like he fell off stage in a comedy skit. Even though he avenged himself, the loss still left Peter restless. That night, he thought for a long time and dug out his costume design. That last line from the book echoed in his ears again. With great power comes something really important. Remember those words, keep those little thoughts in mind, because this moment. Peter finally matured, and from that moment on, the wobbly world gained a Spider-Man who's all about doing good. He roamed every corner of the city daily, wherever crime popped up. There he was, capturing criminals, and his name spread like wildfire. He became the street hero in the hearts of citizens, and his fame made him a media target, but alas, they never could snap a clear pic of him. The newspaper boss offered a hefty reward for his high-res photo, giving new grad Peter a fun-rent battle chance. So from then on, every time before he played superhero, Peter set up his camera in the optimal spot, ensuring he could snap exclusive high-quality photos. But while the photo quality was great, Coleman's boss always found silly reasons to lowball him. Even though the earnings barely covered rent, Peter was still on cloud 9. Because this brought him one step closer to catching Mary's heart. But soon at the Space Carnival, his illusions shattered as he spotted his longtime crush, who was sweetly walking with his best buddy Harry. As the son of a military tycoon, Peter knew the massive gap between him and Harry. But just as he sulked, Spider sense at him, swiftly sensing danger. He looked up to see a green monster on a glider heading their way. Just as people cheered for his show, the monster hurled a bomb directly at the stand where Harry and Mary were sitting, and all chaos broke loose. Balconists fell instantly, and in the nick of time, Peter shot out a web to save 2 tourists standing right below the stand. Seeing the danger, Peter shed his outer clothes, revealing his Spider-Man suit beneath, just in time. With the balconist structure compromised, Mary was on the very edge, teetering dangerously. Yet the Green Goblin wasn't done. He tossed a high-energy bomb by the feet of the corporate executives, instantly turning them to ashes. In a life-or-death moment, Peter leaped down in his new suit and kicked the Green Goblin down, but that kick made his glider lose control. It crashed right into a distant hot air balloon. Seconds later, the sign beneath it plummeted. But no worries, Peter is quick on his feet. He caught a board just before a collapse, but at that very moment, the falling Green Goblin stood up again. Not only did he easily catch Peter's punch, but he hurled Peter down again, showing off classic villain. He even kicked Peter hundreds of meters away, jumped on the glider, and fired at Peter intensely. Sadly, normal attacks didn't threaten Peter. He shot web and soared skyward like a roller coaster. Meanwhile, the balcony with Mary was on the verge of collapsing, and Peter was racing towards her on his balloon. But the Green Goblin attacked from behind. At the critical moment, Peter covered his eyes with webbing and swiftly destroyed the glider circuits, forcing the Goblin to flee the scene. But Mary fell from the platform, screaming, just as Peter leaped into action. Just in the nick of time, he saved Mary, and in front of everyone, he carried the diva through the street. Finally, he placed Mary in a private garden on the rooftop while she gazed at Spider-Man soaring freely in the street below. Mary felt the spark of love budding in her heart, while the defeated Green Goblin returned to his mansion, only to reveal he was none other than Peter's friend Harry's dad, Norman. Board members aimed to bypass Norman and sell to rivals, unleashing his evil side, the Green Goblin. Subtitles. He took advantage of the Air Carnival to eliminate all the company's top executives, leaving behind only the righteous and heroic Spider-Man. Will he choose to destroy our ally? So the next day, the Goblin stormed the newspaper's boss and whisked him up to the secret meeting on the roof. He only had him now to force the boss to hand over the photographer providing Spider-Man's pics, but even though the boss was sneaky, he still didn't rat out. Just as the Goblin was about to strike, Peter dropped down from the sky, but the sneaky Goblin released poisonous smoke this time. Peter couldn't escape in time and passed out in an instant, but when he awoke, he told Spider-Man that the public only had a 3-minute attention span, and what they wanted to see most was the hero's downfall and